Hey folks, welcome to G4G on YouTube. Today we're going to be in Marvel Strike Force, and we're going to talk about Ironheart. So Ironheart has been a power armor character that has been teased in the game for a super long time before she actually showed up. She probably goes down with Red Skull as being in the game files for some time, perhaps one of the longest amounts of time before actually showing up. And now she is around. Let's try to unlock her and talk about her. So as I pop over to my orbs and everything to get her, I've heard a lot of people saying that she was bugged and that they were pissed off at Foxnext for the bugs surrounding her. But the truth is, I don't actually know what the bugs were. A lot of people were just kind of like linking videos and not really describing what was wrong, and I didn't have the time to just go and watch a video, and I was hoping to actually hear what was wrong with her, but unfortunately I never did, so I guess we'll take a look. This is interesting. This Dark Sorcerer's orb and this Uncanny orb have the same graphics. That's really good. Alright, let's see what we do with the orbs. So as we're opening orbs here, let's divert course for a little bit into something that has been making its rounds in the community lately called seed theory. So, way back in the day, seed theory actually was mentioned a lot in World of Warcraft, in that the leader of the raid, or the person who walked in the raid first, was considered to have seeded, quote-unquote, the raid. And there would always be this rumor going around, this tinfoil hat conspiracy theory, as it were, that some people were lucky at seeding and some people were unlucky. And, you know, it always used to be this in-joke of like, oh, we got shit loot because Bob seeded the instance over here. Or we got good loot because Tom seeded the instance over here. So seed theory has definitely been around for some time. How it applies in Marvel Strike Force is that people are posting these videos and saying that the way to do it, the proper way to do seed theory, is that you go to your supplies, you spend a lot of in-game currency, like a lot of gold and everything, and then once you hit a certain threshold of gold spending, you then start opening some orbs, some medium strength orbs. And when you see a really good center pole drop, that's when you're quote-unquote on the good seed. You immediately are supposed to take that good luck and move over to your more powerful orbs, like your red orbs and mega orbs and everything like that. And then from there, you're supposed to now be on the good seed, or essentially the good RNG, and you translate that luck from the one good drop into all of the other orbs that you're opening up at the time. So for example, I believe something like the Legacy orb, if you had done it, was a good one. Maybe Gold orb, I don't exactly remember, but once you have a medium strength orb seed you into the good RNG, dump into something that is way more meaningful, and then supposedly you'll get good RNG from there. I don't know. The community is getting extremely split in its belief in it. You've got people who swear by it. You've got people who are like, it's all just dumb RNG luck. And, you know, there is no such ooh. That's yeah, that's super good for me to be only 8 away from ranking up my Black Widow, which has been pretty much, I think, my strongest tune almost the entirety of my game. So I played the not global beta back in the day, and I got Black Widow, of course, at a time in which he was more farmable. So when the game fully went live, I had already had a decent Black Widow and a decent Cap, and then Black Widow was my first mega superstar Red Star character over there, so that made quite a bit of people jealous for some time, but people have largely believed that those original super hot tunes like Gamora and Black Widow have just been power creeped out. Alright, let me go into my Mega Orb, see what I get. Yeah, okay. Elsa's pretty cool. Didn't really need that Spider-Man Miles, and then Proximus a little weak, but okay, on Elsa. I mean, I can ding her. That's pretty cool. I need to get the rest of my Supernatural lineup up. Started to run low on training pieces lately, so that's not too bad to have that. Alright, let's go over and take a look at Ironheart. First thing I want to do is ding her. Now, Elsa was... A lot of people are like, Elsa who? You know, like Star-Lord who when she dropped. But she ran the speed meta for a while in Marvel Future Fight. And then, believe it or not, her fellow Monster Hunter friend, Kid Kaiju, took over speed meta from her. And then eventually, you know, we would get Quicksilver. I forget who was the one right before Elsa. Black Widow ran the speed meta for a little while, and then Silk came in, I believe. And then maybe Kate Bishop, but I'm not too sure on Kate Bishop. But Elsa was definitely the one you ran for speed days. And then she handed off the torch to Kid Kaiju, and I think Kid Kaiju handed it to Quicksilver. But Elsa enjoyed a really, really good run in Marvel Avengers Alliance for a while. She was a magic-oriented user at a time in which magic was really strong, but then we got something called the Dark Energy Blade, which unfortunately really shut down a lot of Elsa's abilities, and then Elsa just fell off being a really good character. So she now completes the power armor lineup. It's totally complete. They don't really have a tank in here, but they have some support out of rescue. You know, Iron Man War Machine capable of doing a lot of damage, and I have found that you cannot really sleep on Falcon's damage. When you're fighting a buff team, Falcon, he puts out surprisingly good damage. He was okay in Marvel Avengers Alliance. Like, he was a little bit better on defense, but he was always kind of meh. In this game, he does a pretty good job, and we've got his Blitz up. So, my existing power armor team is pretty much what you would expect. It's the power armors with Vision. Vision is tech, power armors are tech. So that was certainly a logical thing. But let's look at Ironheart. So, first thing we want to do, let's bump her up a little bit over here. Now, I've seen a lot of people... See, I don't like that about these beginning ones. I like to do this a little bit more. I hate using my oranges on like the first 45 levels or so. I've seen a lot of people pushing Ironheart super far. Somebody in my alliance just the other day, I saw it pop up over here that Ironheart at tier 13. I was like, holy shit, that's, you know, for a character that was reportedly bugged. A lot of people are dumping huge amounts into her already. I probably could get her in range of my power armor team if I want to. Maybe. Alright, so let's see what she's got. She attacks the primary target with her level 1 for less than 100% damage, then gets above it. Then she gets an assist from Iron Man. Always gain an assist from Iron Man. And then she maxes out her damage. So, orange, strength, pretty low for me. Deploy flares. Attack the primary and adjacent targets for 60% damage. 20% damage to primary and adjacent targets, and she starts reducing the speed bar. She gets an ability block, reducing the speed bar. Always apply the ability block and reduce the speed bar. This is pretty strong. Obviously, that is on the orange tier. That is a little more important than her level 1. So let's look at Heartbreaker. Attack all enemies for more than 100% damage. 50% chance to apply defense down to all enemies in a war. Extra focus for the attack. Now that's pretty cool in that phrasing, because it means whether she's on defense or offense, she's still going to get it. Damage to enemies. Always apply the defense down. Start with 4 ability energy. Where would I place that? I almost think I would do deploy flares. If my resources were limited, I think I would do deploy flares before Heartbreaker. Prodigy. On spawn, apply defense up to self and all power armor. Allies gain resist. Tech allies gain a resist. Max health, power armor. Let's bump her up a little bit more so we can notch that one up a few ranks. Alright, resist tech allies, max health for power armor allies, and then she gains it. 10% armor to power armor and tech, defense down, defense up for 2 turns for self, and all power, max health. And again, it looks like we're not getting specifically war on this one, which is solid. I would probably place Prodigy as the number 1 orange, then deploy flares, then Heartbreaker, and then her level 1. Her definite synergies seem to be obviously with all of power armors, but then specifically she's getting call assist from Iron Man, which is pretty strong. Hero, Global, Tech, Blaster, Power Armor. So they don't have a tank. It'd be interesting if maybe in the future they introduced Hulkbuster and they put that on the power armor. I almost feel like, how can you do that at this point in time, considering Hulkbuster is really more from Age of Ultron than anything. Obviously, it had its appearance in Infinity War to some degree, but you know, really its biggest thing where it was introduced in games was Age of Ultron and everything. I mean, you could retroactively slap it in here, and then that would allow you to mix and match the power armors a little bit and make it more to your liking. Because I mean, Blaster, we know Rescue is going to be support, obviously, but he's a blaster too. So this is a very offensive-minded team with a pretty good support and rescue, but it has no real tank. Now, you could say Ironheart sort of makes everybody tankier, and maybe that's enough. And yeah, you got a pretty good point there. So if you were to look at tech, I mean, this is everybody that is in the tech category. And of course, you know, she gives them a reasonable bonus over here off of Prodigy. I mean, this doesn't really have anything to do with tech. It's really her passive aids in tech and everything like that. I mean, resist, and then finally down here, 10% resistance to tech allies. So, you know, you could slap her in a tech team if you were bringing her up along the way and you had some tech characters. You know, that's certainly good. I mean, my favorite tech characters are Rocket. Rocket is pretty good outside of Guardians. With a tech team, Minerva obviously fits anywhere you want her to be. And poor Vision. I mean, he doesn't even get wave 1. He's going to get outed from the power armor set a little bit. I mean, he goes with Scarlet Witch, clearly, but a team in which Scarlet Witch is most suited for doesn't have room for Vision. So where does Vision really fit in unless he goes to an Avengers team? Cast off Avengers, essentially. You know, and maybe Vision goes with Hawkeye, who's kind of nowhere, and Hulk, who's kind of nowhere. Now you have a 3-person Avenger team. Thor's got a team now. Black Panther's got a team. Ant-Man doesn't, so what? Maybe Ant-Man, Hulk, Hawkeye, and Vision, and then somebody else? It's going to be interesting what happens to him, because I think he's lost his spot. I mean, you could do a full tech team, and then Vision gets pretty good. So before we wrap up the video, I'm going to show the teams that I've been running in Blitz lately. You're going to see some odd things in here. That's still my primary team, made of characters that everybody's saying has been power creeped out, but they generally work for me, and they've been boosted a little bit over time. They've actually been growing still. This is my lower level mutants one. That Ant-Man is standing in. I got to get those guys up for the Marauders and the Brotherhood and everything. My Wakanda team is low because my Black Panther and my Killmonger are way above these three, but the Black Order are temporarily guesting in there. This is my Inhumans one with Slow from the Shield guy that works with Crystal. Nebula is just guesting over there. This is a Fantastic Four that lacks Wonder Woman, and my Namor is much, much higher than these guys, so this is a Fantastic Four Inhumans one. This is my Hero Brawlers with America Chavez. Everybody over here is Hero Brawlers. Obviously, Black Panther belongs on a Wakanda team. He belongs on a Supernatural team, but he's lower than a lot of my Supernaturals, so that's where these guys are now. This is my semi-makeshift mercenary team. This one's fun. So a lot of these lower characters, or these lower teams, sort of lack the fun factor because they're not, obviously, they're not all kitted out, so their full potential is not that great. This team is fun, although Shuri never really has to heal on this team. This team does really well. This team is a lot of fun. Thing is surprisingly fun as a brawler, does good damage. This mercenary team has been a lot of fun. Taskmaster just goes to town with this team up, and at least Korath has something that he can do. My Black Panther and my Killmonger are within range of each other, which is good. So maybe it won't take too much effort to get the Wakandans up there. This is my Sinister Six with Symbiote Spider-Man guesting in there for a little bit. The reason this is not a complete Sinister Six is because my Green Goblin existed for so much longer and is so much more powerful. He's further up. This is my mostly evil mutants team with Killmonger guesting in there and Cable. This is my Asgardian team that doesn't have Loki, because Loki, again, is existed for so long. He's way high up there and not in range, so she's just kind of a temporary stand-in as a little bit of healing. She really has no place on that team. This is my aim team. That's my power armor team. That's my hand. This is my Kree with my Minerva that is ungodly more powerful than the rest of the team, so I need to fix that somehow. This is my Guardians team, which has a super overpowered Rocket. So this team needs to come up to Minerva. This team needs to come up to Rocket. This is a Mystic team. That's where my Elsa is right now. These guys obviously aren't supernatural, but they're Mystic, so it kind of works. This is another Brawler team with Kamala Khan in it. This is my Brotherhood. This is my Spider-Verse one. This is where my Green Goblin is. Ideally, I would get Symbiote Spider-Man up here and drop Green Goblin out. He goes to Sinister Six. Symbiote Spider-Man comes in there. This is just a debuff team that I've had for a really long time. It's just kind of a control the landscape team, and then that's my primary. So yeah, my roster's semi fucked up. So there you go, guys. There's opening some Ironheart orbs. There's talking about seed theory, and there is a look at Ironheart, the character herself. So if you remember when Endgame came out, and there was that possible thought that Tony Stark's daughter would eventually become Ironheart, or the next Iron Man in some way, shape, or form, and people dragged that poor girl on Twitter saying it's supposed to be Riri, it's supposed to be her because she's a person of color and everything like that. Like, that's just ridiculous. That is culture gone completely wrong, because nobody was saying that was going to happen at the time, but people acted like it was. So I found that to be utterly ridiculous, that poor actress just got dragged through the mud over there for being hired to be in a movie. I thought it was ridiculous, and she was so incredibly cute, and it was such a sad part of Endgame, the role that she had to play, and then to just step out and look in real life and see people be awful to her. I thought that was ridiculous, and people who did that really, really should rethink their lives a little bit to troll that poor girl. Anyway, that's it from me in Marvel Strike Force. Have a good one, guys. Catch you later.